just before we start anything, I just want to take this moment to acknowledge our caretakers and ancestors from where we are. We're based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So to the Pueblos that are the original people of these lands, I also want to acknowledge wherever you're beaming in from, and the grounds that you're on, of those caretakers and ancestors of where you've come from. So thank you. So thanks everyone for beaming in. My name is Elena. I am the co-founder and executive director of Indigenous Solutions. Really want to thank you for your time and beaming in from us wherever you got this information from. This is the first of many series that we will be doing. And Indigenous Solutions, Indigenous Ways is about bridging cultural exchange with people globally. So we promote living in balance for diverse communities through music, arts, outreach, and events. So essentially, for 2020, we had a lot of events and festivals organized for the year. And then with the COVID-19 that got canceled, all our events got cancelled. So the next best of call was for the outreach that we do with the communities of put it online. So we've spent the last 3 weeks getting the back end ready of our websites, all the social media, and really want to thank you because we're going to be growing this together. So as I'm doing this intro, there's one thing I'm going to send out to you, if you can see. It's asking you if you had any troubles getting on to this page, whether that was downloading Zoom or trying to navigate it. So there's a little survey that's come to you. It's either on your phone or your computer, wherever you're at. If you can just answer that the best that you can, it'll just give us an indication on our end of how we can tweak things better to make it easy and user-friendly for everyone. Most of our communities live in remote. And so another thing that we're trying to problem solve is if there is no to low bandwidth, how we get out. But one of the things in creating these circles, we've got the Wisdom Circle that we're in at the moment. And on Saturdays, we've got the concert series. And the whole idea is keeping all our artists and communities and supporting them in whatever way we can. But one of the beautiful things of creating this community today that we're doing it. So I just want to share the results. So we've got about, most people said no, which is great. So thank you so much for doing that. While we're doing this, if you're in chat, if you're able to chat and you've got a chat box, just let us know where you are beaming in from around the country, whether that's Turtle Island or from overseas, and you're able to access the chat, which is down the bottom if you're on a full screen of just letting know where you're coming from. So thank you again. You know, this series would not be possible. You know, it takes a village to do stuff. So this series would not be possible without our sponsors. So I want to give a big shout out to First Peoples Fund, the National Endowments of the Arts, the New Mexico Arts, City of Santa Fe Arts Commission, who have made this possible for us to do in diverting the projects that we had into this because of the importance of the outreach to our communities and how do we get through this together. So with that blurb, if you haven't been to one of our Indigenous Ways concert series, we generally start out with a welcome, an opening prayer, and then we're introducing our guest, who will then bring their medicine in. So Homer, if you are on the line, I'm going to unmute you and would love you to give us the opening prayer, if you would, and bringing us all in. Okay, Homer, you're unmuted. Yat A.
Bel San from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thank you for asking me to do the opening prayer. Wajwana shado le nasa shaman leni shatra shajan leni yadil. Likhilwin lo do le kon dishje bani kregi kon de beyat ehi al sinadat yadil tkedat be wajwana hasli do le zil stan to stan leni digan dan leni stan leni kon kilwin lo do le nimwan leni kon ni yaj tshne o ado Charles Hayol, Carton, Lady Corn, the Diggin and Lady Biare, Nani Credole, Ado Edadole, Behujona has sleep dole, no dishne, Ado Yaltke has one, need shade and Lady Corny, Sud and eat Lenny, wait and eat Licorda Bayat Ehi. Nikilwin Lord or let me eats easy, garden, suckcase and Lady be, Hujona sleep dole, and yet it a corda. Ado na Alkaiski ni da it tilsuit eden leni corner. Chian and leni nestan leni be tradadin skin leni aro and ani it ed eke din ze ol yehegi nacha nein lahagi corner be ni so del zendo les dische corner. Ado be hujone credole dische ni is ni gal sakes ni zad. Beyat ehi nasi kredole. Hujona hasli, hujona hasli, hujona hasli, hujona hasli.
Oh, thank you, Homa, and blessing us in. So, you know, it gives us a great honor and privilege, not only that you're all here. I have whānau that are on the line too, so some family members from Aotearoa, so thank you for beaming in. And so, and going from that, you know, and starting this series and the work that we've been doing in utilizing arts and music in communities through festivals, through events, and being here in Santa Fe, there is no better person than our guest who I'm going to introduce. So in doing that, you know, I came to Turtle Island 14 years ago, and I had a one-way ticket, and I knew that I needed to be on Turtle Island for 5 years. I had no idea where I was going. And a week that I was here, I was in New York City, and I met an elder from Tesuque Pueblo. And for those people that aren't in New Mexico or Santa Fe, Tesuque Pueblo is the first native village tribe north of Santa Fe. And so I met an elder from Tesuque, and she said, "Hey, I've been praying for someone to travel with me." And I said, "Hey, I know I'm meant to be traveling with a woman. It must be you." And so I spent a month traveling with Vicky Downey. And when we came back to New Mexico, someone had passed in the Pueblo, and so it was closed. And she said to me, "I want you to stay with my friend, Elder Kathy Sanchez." And I said, "Oh, okay, that sounds good." So I moved over to San Ildefonso. And so particularly for those that have beamed in from Australia, from New Zealand, I want to share this story with you because I know some of you thought I was mad going off over to this country, but and having no idea what needed to happen. But I landed in the Sanchez's household for a month. And I am always grateful to her and to the family. So there is a deep, deep connection for me, not only with Elder Kathy, her family, the Sanchez's, but also with Tewa Women United. And so what ended up happening was a few years back, Elder Kathy was doing some blessings up in Baltimore, Maryland, and she said to Tash and I, "Hey, why don't you come up here?" And so we did, and we were there for a couple of days, and then the Baltimore riots happening, with Black Lives Matter. And at the same time that we were there with Elder Kathy, her daughter, Dr. Kathy Sanchez, who is now the CEO of Tewa Women United, she was in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So I was saying to my dad, and Dad, if you're on the line, welcome too. I was saying to my dad, hey, Dad, we're up here in Baltimore. There's riots going on with Elder Kathy. Do you want to go and get Corrine? So my dad went and got Corrine, and they met, which was really lovely. So I just wanted to share that story and me coming into Turtle Island and being housed on San Ildefonso. So it's a deep, deep place that I have with Elder Kathy. There's so many things that I can say about her 30 years ago, just over 30 years ago, with what was going on San Ildefonso. Her and a collective of powerful women there founded and started Tewa Women United. And the services there were to all the communities. So there's no better place for us to kick this series off with the medicines and the extraordinary things that this amazing elder has given to many of the communities. So let's give it up for Elder Kathy.
I am so honored to be here. Thank you so very much. And I greatly was moved by the prayer, and also simultaneously doing my prayer in Tewa, so that my ancestors can also see and hear and be honored that everyone has a chance to join in a loving way during these hard times, and prayers go out to everyone. So I did have a slide presentation ready, so if you want to go ahead and click. Bipowabeh means welcome. Thank you for coming into our Tewa homelands. The butterfly model is going to show us how to be in harmony with our inner visions of who we are, with the outer visions of what other people see us to be. So this is a picture of Valles Caldera, and I show it because it looks like an eye, and it shows right deep into Mother Earth. And we are San Ildefonso, where we are along the Rio Grande, we sit on the Black Mesa. Right here is where I am. So I'm very conscious of the volcano there. Okay, so what we're going to be using is the butterfly model, because it's the two wings of us being multiversal people, earth-centered people, spirit-based, and community kindred peoples. And we're, by definition, we're trying to envision ourselves in different terminologies. So we are two-legged relatives to all of Mother Earth's visions. And we are the outer visions of the ancestral dreaming of our present. So it is very important that we acknowledge that dreaming and having that vision to see us in the future is what's given us that life to be here now. So click. So what is happening in our world situation as Native people now is that on one side of our internal spiritual essence of spirithood that we have a knowingness. We have that innate ancestral wisdom within us that guides us and directs us. And so it's always in prayer with our soulfulness, our soul spiritness. The other wing, the side that we deal with on a physical basis, is knowledge-based, predominant worldview systems telling us who we are, and also informing our bodies so heavily that the two have a conflict sometimes because the information from one to the other does not translate well. So that's what we'll be working through in knowing who we are from inside out. So this butterfly model, two-world harmony, starts from within. So everything is from the cosmos to us, into our spiritualness, and then that informs the plan or motivations for outward actions. So the spirit of who we are, our spiritfulness, comes from the cosmos in prayer, in thought, in the dreaming, and it comes into our psyche, and then it motivates and informs us into our body, where the heart and the mind have also joined the three in order to make decisions. So from sky energy to us, sky is very important. What is in the cosmos is very important. And I'll stress that a little bit later as well, because our breath of life, our breathing has the rainbow that you see has very different levels of consciousness that needs to be cleansed and cleared and breath. So in this times that we're in, if you have your essential oils, if you have your lavenders, if you have your plant medicine, use them, because they allow you to breathe, and that breathing cleanses and clears your lungs in order for the negative viruses not to stick within you, but to just be flowing out again. So Mother Earth has lots of earth energy forms, and we need to be conscious that air is an element. Air has a spirit that should be respected as well and guarded. We need to guard and protect our atmospheric air and what's happening. Fire, again, also the fire that I talked about, the heartbeat of Mother Earth, is a nuclear reactor. And that is visible in the Valles caldera because geothermal heat is still coming out. And that magma, that soulfulness, that heartbeat of Mother Earth has to be respected and honored and left where it should be, inside of our bodies, inside of Mother Earth, that energy for life. Land is our outer vessels, so we should be gentle and respectful and honor our land-based connections. Water is cleansing. We are water vessels. Our vessels of earthen bodies holds water, and water is what is going to be recycled through us, around us, back up to the cosmos, come down as that rain. So the water cycle is very, very important for our life to continue in a good way. So this is a skeletal model of what all the parts that I'm talking about come together. We've talked about the three, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. We've talked about the rainbow, the atmospheric conditions, and if all those are coming down in a good way, that knowingness and that knowledge that we have on both sides of our wings can be nurtured. So the middle part, the little tree in the middle. So the little tree is guided by our values. What values have we put for ourselves to be? What are we going to grow in? So in our organization, Tewa United, we do have it in Tewa, but it's translated on the side. So Winataya is together, we help each other. Reciprocity is there. Wawatsi is being alive with purposeful intentionality. When those are invaded or tried to be clouded so we don't do those, you'll know it. Your gut will tell you when things aren't running the way they should be. Kuiwa Sengwa Victu is a saying that honors both the energies of female and male. That ancestral energy is present in all of us. It is that loving light. It doesn't have that physical form of a male or a female, or the continuum is like that rainbow. It is so fluid that we need to honor both in us. And there are lots of values that are core to you, and I'm sure that they might vary. And so these are just some of them some of the ones that we have, but you can also know what your values are. And when things that are in the world that are counter to that, you'll know it, because then you'll know that that respectfulness, that akin is not being honored. Or nango chukuyo, if her womb is suffering, the earth is suffering, she's going to let you know, and you'll know that your value is to love her, protect her. Being Sigimave, loving, caring, looking out for each other. That is so critical at this stage that is happening to us on Mother Earth at this time. And when we did the prayer in opening, those are thoughts. Thoughts are powerful, so be careful what you think. This is a statement a scroll that was found in caverns, caves, long time ago. But what it's saying is that I am thought that exists in the light. So that is interpreted to mean that our cosmic energy, our ancestors, are there in different levels of realms of reality. And it's the light that they shine in us that is going to unpollute that darkness. So she exists before before all of creation have that vision. So the dreaming starts and then it shows. So it says that it moves in every creature, every life giver, everything that has life. Even rocks have life. All that we think is, by our Euro-American understanding, is not life. It is a life. And the presence of that sacred energy is invisible, but it is one within all of us. And so that perception and the knowledge come together, and it's uttering a voice by means of thoughts. And I cry out in everyone, and they know that a seed dwells within them. So seeds of hope, seeds of thoughts, these seeds of wisdom, nurture them, guard them, protect them, plant them, and they will grow. So what we're describing in an indigenous land-based way of knowing is a culture of peace. So relationality model redefines and reaffirms in loving light. So you have that choice. You have the ability to put on prayer what is and what is not. If they're contradicting, how do you manage and how do you contrast them? So there is a way that guides you and guides all of us, especially now when our young ones want to do so much actions because things are not seemingly helping all of us. It's harming people, harming Mother Earth, harming plants, harming. So how do we contrast and how do we fortify ourselves now to do those actions, to correct those, or to keep us in our good path? So when the wisdom from our dreamings, from our ancestors, from our asking comes to mind, heart, and spirit, that breath of life gives us that. We take in a breath and say, yes, I'm going to do it. Yes, I know what I mean. So it nurtures the young plant that's in the middle. My Indian name is Bipowabeh, and that comes from the namings that our grandparents, our ancestors have guided us. So that tree of life, Bipowabeh, is we emulate qualities of nature, but they have to be rooted and grounded. We have to be connected back into Mother Earth. So this model sort of helps you to understand the bridging of the two different ways that might seem contradictory to each other, but how do we honor who we are in both worlds? And it's also very simple, is that you give love and thankfulness for each and everything that happens. Your mind, your heart, and the spirit have that indigenous precautionary principle that says, do no harm. What you do should spread the goodness. Asking is okay. Asking your body, your mind, asking heartfulness, asking multi-spiritual connections for that guidance every day, every night, in the morning, when you get up, when you give your cornmeal, you're asking for that guidance. And then you proceed because you know that the wisdom that you had in your water, in your prayers at night are going to be fulfilled. So it's not shameful to ask. Don't be shamed out of asking. How the other person or other atmosphere is in not honoring your ask or shaming you out of your ask, that's up to them to do what they're going to be doing. But you don't take that to heart to mean that you aren't proper in asking. So the cosmos and their ancestors are watching and they are guiding. So don't be worried. Just say thank you to whoever gave you what advice if you ask. And if that didn't feel right in your gut, go ask somewhere else. Keep asking until you know that what you're doing has that validity. And remember, you are in in a culture of peace that has not been given its breath or presence. And it's going to be harder working within this cultural violence, because that cultural violence is parasitical, and it will eat at you, because that's how they get their energy out of you. So don't let them come into you in that way. Just keep giving love and thanks. This slide is about the 3 T's in culture. That means that our native way, indigenous way of knowing, our knowingness, our experiencing of it, and on the Euro-American side of the knowledge base, both sides are equal in having thought, the values, the beliefs, in having technology, the methods, the means. The techniques are the activities on both sides. So you are a powerful entity that has both sides, that you can have both wisdoms on both sides guiding you. Then you can't be shamed out of saying that you're not smart enough. You don't know the technological world we're in now. So no, you've got strength on both sides, and you know it. So honor yourself in your wisdom, in your ability to have that contrasting ability of both information on both sides. This is an image that we as nuclear safety activists, when we were in Russia with the women there, we drew this together. So on the, I guess it's my left-hand corner where it says dream a new dream, again goes back to the ancestors in having that dreaming for us, and us having the dreaming for next generations. And it has that air. You can almost see the same cloud, the rain, the land, the soil. And that eye that you see there looks similar to Vaya's caldera, because it is about that soulful energy that is coming from Mother Earth. And it's peace, the culture of peace. And all of around there, trees, plants, animals, all that is about unifying, and the sun, the moon, the energies. And that statement at the bottom is that we all can transform nuclear to a new and a clear window, a window into the souls. So nuclear has its place, but it should remain that sacred energy of Mother Earth, not used as a tool in a culture of violence, because it is very, very precious and harmful if not used properly. And we perceive that stable world. So let's keep the good energy of us, the energy of that loving light, circling, cycling around, because that is what's going to sustain us. And we should not be shamed out of saying we respect Mother Earth, keep her nuclear heart, her energy, the heartbeat inside. Because once it comes to the surface, that violent eruption of those balls of fire, that is her vomiting out, cleansing us. So fifth world levels are going to come if we as humans don't guard and protect our life energies. So this butterfly model on both sides has community, and it has sacredness on both wings. Or if the community on one side violates the other, your inner soul, your soulfulness crosses that boundary of your sacred self, you can move to the other side and slide into a sacred space there. It might be going to the mountains, it might be going to the rivers, it might be going into a circle that honors all cultures, all races, all ages. Find your sacred center, cleanse, recharge, and then come back into community, and come back into your community of where you have your communal families. So it is a 24-hour cleansing and recharging. That's possible because you have that wisdom and strength of having that contradictory management model there. So honor that in you. Love yourself in both. So the bottom part of the butterfly wings, you have a language. Your language is your communicative ability, your self-expression. But that doesn't mean just in the tongue. It means in your dances, in your singing, in your different modes of unity, of moving the energy as relatives. And so you have different sounds, different ways, different motions. And so there's many different modalities that are going to be needed in the languaging of your heart, your mind, and your spirit. And then on the other side is the spirituality. The spirituality is your spirit rootedness of inner energy that is inside of you. And as the, I don't know if this slide clicks by itself. It should be, oh yeah, okay. So it's coming in. So there's that diversity of modality. Spirituality shows you your worthiness, your integrity, your purposeful living, and not everything is known. Your ancestors will guide you and show you things and laying that path, those touchstones on the earth, but also your highlights of energy from the spiritual world to guide you. And they're not going to overwhelm you. They're going to see how you're doing. They're going to protect you, guide you. So give love and thanks and forgive yourself for some mistakes that might happen along the way, but you're learning from it. So it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. And one thing this slide is about reasoning. We as humans have a brain, and only maybe 10% of our brain is actually being used, because as indigenous ways of knowing in the experiencing of it and in the wisdom that comes through generations, your reasoning is so many different levels of translations that will guide you. And as you develop those tools of your communicative ability to other generations, to other life forms, to the plants, to the waters, to all the different spirits that are there, your reasoning is going to grow. So don't think that everything is mind. I can't understand it, or it's overwhelming. This culture of violence that we're finding ourselves in tries to take your reasoning abilities away. They try to overload you through the mind. Don't let that happen. You're a whole person that has the ability to cleanse, unhook those things that they've said to you that aren't helping you grow. Recharge yourself with that positive energy of light and love, and drink lots of water, because we're water people, and that water is cycled all the way up back into the cosmos, to the clouds, to the skies, and it comes back into us, and then it goes back down into Mother Earth, and it's cleansed and recharged and out again. So we are in a perpetuity of life if we as humans really honor our life ways as being land communal based humans. We have a human beingness that needs to be honored in mind, heart, and spirit. So I'm saying all this because we have young ones that see the injustices that are going on. And so we are rising, we are helping to rise our soulfulness to address those, but we don't want to be bumping heads. We don't want to be put by the culture of violence in a way that is a push and a shove. So we don't want to be bumping heads and exerting ourselves, because they're going to find other ways, and they say, oh, they want on that point, we'll move this block in their way, and they're going to bump heads over there while we jump over here and do this disruptive, harmful, hurtful action over here. They're not paying attention. So these are, on one side, your healthy pathways from dreams. If you do all those ones and you add to these, and it's a living document. So this is what is guiding principles that are on those sides of that butterfly wing. Because on the reality side, if you do one by asking for spiritual guidance, in reality, a passageway is going to open that darkness to clarity. That's letting in the light. That's letting in that unpolluting. So watch your skies. They're being covered up right now. They're being geoengineered. The culture of violence is trying to use weather against us. and keeping out our ancestral energies from coming through. So pay attention and call them on it. Get that guidance to be of a heartful presence to address those things. But your ancestors are there as well to shake it up, to move it, to vibrate it. And so number 2, by knowing who you are, we just went through a ways of how to know yourself. If you know who you are, that integrity of yourself is mobile like the butterfly. That sacredness of all is upon this earth. It's there for you. And you move towards goodness. You move away from negativity and you gather together. And when butterflies move their wings, that energy cleanses and it brings in that goodness. And so, but butterflies have a short lifetime. So remember your lifetime, your path. What are you doing? So by accepting who life brings, that's your question of not so much, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? What are my goals? What are my plans? It's about accepting who life brings. So your question is, who is my purpose in life? So that purposefulness dawning enlightens and it awakens that relational kinship, that you are that two-legged relatives to all on Mother Earth. So accept your gifts the way it comes and honor, give love and thanks whoever comes into your pathway, be it plant that brushes you, be it an animal that comes into your pathway. They love a pat, they love to be loved. But be patient, number 4, because like I said, not all is known. Living is understandable if you have the patience to dream that dream and put it in that space that gives you that ability to move from inner self to outer self. And through sharing what you have. Right now, we're hearing a lot about hoarding, and I think this isolation by scaring us with this virus is teaching us that when we're sharing, simultaneity restores living. So even as we were kept isolated, a tool that the cultural violence uses to isolate and you're alone didn't work because we are on cyberspace. But this cyberspace is not the only tool. We have to unhook ourselves from this electromagnetic field and use our telepathic ways of transmitting our thoughts, our energy. We need to do our soulful journeying. That is still there. So be mindful of what is happening when the grids are forming those lines across on top of you. G5, be very aware of what that means. It means that there's a microwave oven structure around Mother Earth. And again, when you use that and you use how to get the energy from that, you notice microwaves go inside of you. They release the cell energy from inside out. So they're destroying life. So just remember, you don't have to really go from G1, G3, G5 and up and have that be the next netting of our soulfulness. We need to be conscious of what's happening around us. And so number 6, by respectfulness of others, recharge is mutual. So don't throw out hate just because, I hate what they're doing to us or this is going wrong. No, because recharge is mutual if you respect the energy that is there, but you have to pray that their behaviors of what they're doing might not be the best, might be very harmful. But if you're putting out your energy, that recharge for you is mutual. Don't think that you put it out and nobody's noticing it or that they're not returning that energy back to you. You've done it. You've done the recharge just by being who you are in that circumstance of giving thanks and giving love. So by taking others to heart, that harmony is found within. We're going back to that two-world harmony of inside you. If you are doing the goodness, you are in that good way. You are putting out the needed loving light. And it's not up to you to judge other people that are not doing that. Creator and the energy in the culture of peace will do its magic, or will do its healing in a way that that doesn't have to be you feeling disheartened that it's not happening soon enough, or nothing is happening, or that we have to hold them by making this law and that law and they're breaking that law. No, because we're in a different time frame at this time, and we should honor how a culture of peace works. And so number 8, by being as a female, being as a male, this is that continuum of energy. One is found within the other, one informs the other, and oneness is the two-world harmony of inside you. You have that continuum of loving, your whole fluidness of having that light. Light does not have that form. When we talk about being spirit people, that spirit has light, loving, glowing energy of light. It doesn't have a form of a male or a female. So honor that, even as you are spirit people walking on this earth with that earthen vessel. When living within presence, moments are forever. And I love how everyone is sharing these moments and sharing these thoughts and sharing these prayers from way across here to halfway across Mother Earth, or even within our close-knit family. Just remember, we need to create good memories for our young children. They are watching. That's that presence in essence in it. And they're very emotionally readable, young ones. So make sure that you're putting out good energy for them, and praise them and tell them, you did a good job. That was great. We're going to work this together. And I'm sorry if I've hurt your feelings. I'm sorry if I missed that, because they want to share that with you, and we want to share that with our elders, with our young ones. So by honoring elders, it's also honoring that youthful wisdom, because it takes that wisdom that's in the young at heart to see beyond that wisdom of soulfulness. We want to see from inside out, from the heart's eyes out. And then by seeing connections, that relationality, that word means relatives, all that relations and the activity together, we see and add those connections back. We don't want to be derooted. We don't want to be taken off and away from Mother Earth. We're grounded back into that sacred life, because it's going to radiate to everyone. And when you do your spark here, and they do their little spark here, the circle here, circle there, all that moves that energy throughout Mother Earth. So thank you for being and doing that. So this is a little picture that I made in one of the groups that I was in, is that I live right near Valles Caldera. That's that little bump in the middle is the Black Mesa. You saw it on the first map. That's a air vent for the volcano. And so I live right there. And when I do my morning prayers, that prayerfulness sees these little tiny spirits that are there. They are there watching. They're the next level of reality that we don't see, but they're there. And some gifted people do see them. But it's another dimension of time and space that's still here with us. So they're watching our heart. They're taking care of us. We're asking for guidance. This Avanyu in the middle, the serpent is the water, the Rio Grande. So we have to honor the fluidity of water. We should guide and protect all our water sources, offer prayers and blessings for them. And then when we have the planting, it's going to be planting time pretty soon. So we have our plants. We give love and thanks for that which honors life back into us. So I put with loving hearts and with shattering, loud, bursting fluidity of laughter and prayers, with that newness in life. Those little tiny footprints. These is that butterfly model, but it's the little babies that we need to love and nurture in all of us. Even that little baby in us that got hurt and wounded, we need to take our hands as adults and tell the child within us, we love you, we care for you, we're so sorry that you had to go through all this suffering and pain, but we're here now. We're going to grow together. We're going to love and not be shamed out of that past memory, but letting it go in the prayer that you put out, in the rock that you told your story to, or in the water that you prayed with. Love and give it back to Mother Earth to be recycled. So this big footprint, reunite with ancestors. We all have ancestors from our place of our birth or wherever we find ourselves to be. Honor your earth, your feet being planted there. Honor your presence and all that come into your vision. So this is the actual two-world harmony starting from within. So we see the clouds that were those mind, heart, and spirit. We see this platform of Mother Earth. We see the waters, what it means, what joy we have walking in there, swimming in there. And if it has been poisoned, been made toxic, pray to the water. Mother Earth, the clouds that are natural will recycle and change. Miracles are possible because we are in this bubble of our earth, and we were giving the ability to change, recharge on a 24/7 basis. So nurture and protect that radiant, loving, transformative energy that we have in us. All of us, how many millions and billions of people have that? Honor and love all your relatives everywhere. And grandmothers, pray with Grandma Moon. And even if we're here in North America, South America, East, West, all over are doing this same thoughtfulness. So you're never alone. So honor that relationality in your telepathic thought travels. This is a lot of work, and I'm sorry for the translator that has to go through all this. But have faith and trust in Creator's healing of your inner soul woundedness. Have faith and trust, for guidance is not all is known and revealed until we are capable and we're able to be strong. And so here's where I put the word resisting, because it's not about resistance, meaning that you're up against the tension of moving and not being able to move because there's a blockage. But when we have our relationality, when we have our relations connected back, that's resisting. So the word is to resister that energy, take back our power. We need to reabsorb that loving, caring, nurturing ways of our natural world. So what was dreamt for us by our ancestors in another dimensional time, we are doing that dreaming for the next ancestors to come. And we fade into that ancestral role. So as the young ones come forward, let us honor that dreaming space. Let's have good dreams and thoughts for people. So that's the end, and this is just my card. You can reach me there or go to tewaunited.org. We have a lot of helpful information on many different things, especially now in getting the words out about how to care for ourselves when this virus, and as Indigenous people, we know that germ warfare happened long time ago, and it hasn't stopped. So let us remember that we need to really understand how germ warfare, how viruses are mutated, and how it's used in killing people and in making people sick. But then we also have that same ability to know how, by healing plants, by the energies of goodness, how we can fortify our mind, our heart, and our spirit to be in a good protective way for all relations. So thank you. Good night.
Oh, Kunda, Elder Kathy. I'm going to encourage everyone, if you want to come back in, just to start your videos on. And while everyone's beaming back in, let's give a big round of applause for Elder Kathy, thank you for sharing that medicine for our deaf and hard of hearing people who are out there. We're switching interpreters to Indigenous Ways. So not me, the other Indigenous Ways, which is Tash, to continue this. We're just going to segue, Elder Kathy, before we close out, and when we do close out, would you honor us all and do the closing prayer when we're ready to do that? So, okay, great. So before we do the closing prayer, I wanted to thank everyone again for beaming in, and this will be recorded and put up onto our Indigenous Ways website. So if you want to take the recording of that, I'm just going to pop up in the chat box that website, and that'll be available in 24 hours if you want to be able to share the good medicine of what Elder Kathy has shared about today, including the good energy around us, being able to let that light in, and here we go, letting that light in. Oh, there's a lot of light on me, look at that. And one of the beautiful things with that number that Elder Kathy shared, when you hear the voice message on her phone, you'll always hear her say, "Give love and blessings to water." So that's the intro on her phone. But a lot of really good medicine that was shared. Thank you, Elder Kathy. And just for everyone, this is the channel every Wednesday. If you're in Turtle Island, there's a time zone chart where we're going to have lots of extraordinary elders, spiritual advisors come in and share here with the wisdom, with the gifts that they've been given. If you'd like to know more about that, again, with that link that I shared, you can go there. All the information's on the website if you want to be in the newsletter so you know what's coming up. But there's also a calendar for Wednesday's Wisdom Circle of who's on. One of the presenters that will be here on Wednesday next week is James Woodenlegs. We're very honored to have him in next week. He is Northern Cheyenne from Lame Deer Mountain in Montana. He is a deaf spiritual advisor and has really good medicine. So he's going to be on next week. We're also on Saturday doing our, thanks for that. So there's James Woodenlegs down there. Also, you can download this on our website if you want to see who's coming in. And then this Saturday, we've got our Indigenous Ways concert series. And so one of the things that Elder Kathy mentioned is not only with the integrity and being purposeful in life, a lot of the people throughout our series and that we've worked with in the past with other events have been on the red road, clean and sober, walking a really good path. And so we've invited them to share their medicine to all of you. All of these are free. We've got Ernie Sosi, who will be with us this Saturday. He is a comedian. So one of the very many blessings that we have is through laughter. And so we thought there was no better person than Ernie kicking off the concert series this Saturday. So there's the Zoom ID, or you can go to the website and grab any of that information. Also, again, I want to thank our sponsors in making this possible, which is First Peoples Fund based in South Dakota, the National Endowment of the Arts, which is in Washington, D.C., the New Mexico Arts, and also the City of Santa Fe Arts Commission that are based here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we are. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time and sharing your synergy and energy with us this evening, and blessing us with your presence. As Elder Kathy said, you know, we're in this extraordinary time, and I know throughout our Indigenous our Indigenous prophecies, we're in this time, and it is our spirits that are here, and we derive from our ancestors and the things that our ancestors had to go through to be here for us, you and I, to be here today. So in order for us to do this with this COVID-19, nothing is by accident. But the only way that we can do this is together, and hence what we have created in the small part we can do as Indigenous Ways is this virtual events. So we really appreciate your time. If you like this, in the next 24 hours, this beautiful medicine that Elder Kathy has shared will be on video on our website. Please feel free to share that. If you really liked and being a part of what you have experienced this evening, please feel free to share Wednesday's link to any of your friends. There's a lot of good medicines to share by each and every one of you. So even you taking the time to be here, we really, really appreciate. And I've also got to thank this extraordinary team for us being here. The Indigenous Ways board members, there's a lot of you on the call, on our webinar. I want to give special mention in the back end of getting all the websites and social media up so we could do this thing, so this message could be beamed out wherever it is. I want to give special tribute to Bridget DePay. She's based in Atlanta, and also to the RTM team. We've had a lot of bouncing back, how we troubleshoot the technical side. So thank you to Hillary and Amber. But most importantly, thank you for being here. To Willa, a big shout out to Willa on our back end, not only being really fundamental in the support, but also our back end of all the tech and supporting me. Thank you. What we're going to do, Elder Kathy is going to bless us out. So if you, I'm just going to take this opportunity. If you have people that you want to hold in these prayers, I'm just going to unmute everyone's line. And we're just going to spend a bit of time of you putting people out that you know, it might be first responders, anyone like that, that you can put into this prayer circle, maybe yourself. Our closing prayer of what Elder Kathy is going to close us out with. When Elder Kathy is finished with her prayer, we're going to, if you want to leave, you can. We're going to hang about for anyone who just wants and needs to talk after we've done this. And if you have received all the medicine you need to and want to jump off, we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday at the Indigenous Ways concert series. Other than that, again, thank you everyone for your time. I'll just make sure that I've covered everything here. Okay, if you have anyone or yourselves that you wish to be prayed for, if you can put those names out now through your microphone, so we're going to hear all sorts of things. So this is the opportunity. If you want prayers for yourself, family members, now's our time.
Judith,
Aisha, Florida,
Boy,
Lauber,
Timothy,
all my
Brian,
family in California,
Mike Sachs,
workers, social workers,
Carter,
legislators,
unaware of what to do with this time.
servers, bus drivers, everybody who cannot stop working.
at the hospital.
All those troubled and can't find peace.
the
This touch.
Great.
homeless workers.
Thank you. So with that, however you wish to pray, Elder Kathy, again, actually, since we're on the line, let's give it up for Elder Kathy, who has blessed us with her presence, essence, wisdom from ancestors coming through. And if you would do the honor, Elder Kathy, and just closing us up.
Yeah, no, the way get for about good, the got to it. Named Owangi. Bike it, can't that when the daddy, he want this again. You don't know it way more wagging, or you're in the whole good that got to it. Yeah, no, and be a guy, and what about way ain't and way money, and be in and be going and be animal, and kitty what he already got it. Good. Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank
want to
you.
see you, man. Thanks, E.
Love
Hey,
you.
let's give it up for our interpreters and making it possible. If you've got any feedback of how we can improve, please do.
Deserve it.
Love you, Tosh.
But
Love you,
right
Tosh.
on. Thank you, Elder Kathy.
Thank you.
Love you.